Good morning. I'm not echoey, right? And also, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And am I not echoey? Good morning, everyone. No, not echoey. Okay, thank you. All right, let's get started. Let me turn off my heater. Let me make sure I have this on members only. I think I do. Where is it? Members. Okay. Yes, I do. All right, let's begin. Message and song. Little Lion Man by Mumford and Sons. It's making me think of the Lionsgate portal. Something coming in for you around the Lionsgate portal. You're about to have the next step forward in something that you earned a rebalancing on. Feels like an idea or a perspective shift you can expect around that Lionsgate portal, which is 8-8. Will BW accept our offer on the house? Feels like there may be a bit of a counter offer, but it feels like it would be something within your range because it does feel like it's accepted, but there's like it wiggles a little bit. What were Rosie's real intentions in reaching out to me yesterday? It's like to see if there was I'm testing if the door is closed or open. King of Wands, that's the reason for the action. It's almost like trying to test a theory of what they expected in terms of an open door. How will our camping trip go next week? Feels like there's one thing that you want to do that you might not get to do. I don't know if it's like weather or there's a delay in something, but it feels like other than that, it goes well. Like one little hiccup of sorts. It kind of feels like a weather thing. New member, thank you. You're about to have confirmation about why what you previously wanted needed to fall away so that what you actually needed could come in. Message from my guides and a song. I don't really like this playlist. Hold on. No, hold on. Nothing's working. There we go. One Thing Right by Marshmello. Given yin yang, you're about to see the good and the bad and the bad and the good in a situation that perceivably was against you, but actually held you back for the right amount of time. You learned what you needed to learn from a door that you wanted to open but didn't open when you were trying to open it. 2 weeks no contact from BFF after I told her I was upset she forgot about my remission day. She got defensive and made it about her. Is that the end? I feel like right now the situation definitely needs time. Almost like right now, if you tried to have a conversation, you still would be talking in two different languages to one another. I feel like it's something that doesn't necessarily have to be over, but right now it needs a longer pause. Oh, Grand Rising. What are Brian's feelings toward me now? There's a equal give and exchange or a desire for one, but there's some kind of hesitancy to uphold their end. It's like, I know what you deserve, but at times I self-sabotage type of thing or hold back. But there's like an awareness of a desire to move past some kind of previous limitation. Message and a song. Real World by Matchbox 20. You're about to no longer be held back by some kind of time management strategy that was subconsciously working against you or like low-key working against you. Let me move this down. Something in terms of time, you learned the lesson about getting time management in order, and because of that, there's going to be progress. Thank you. It is the Muse Tarot. I don't know where the box went. There it is. That one, the Muse Tarot. They also have it in a small size. I have that one too. Any messages from my guides? You are the one that pushes this open. It's almost like you may be waiting for some kind of clarity, but clarity comes from action, or clarity comes from... No, it feels like clarity comes from action. Like you take a step and then the next step is revealed to you type thing, in terms of putting down a mental barrier to, it feels like, being seen. You're about to work through some kind of perception wound because of action that you're taking. Message for the next month. There's a need to be very mindful of internal dialogue and not convincing yourself to restore a previous imbalance. Internal dialogue is going to be your key in August to whether or not it's like a productive or unproductive month. What are my guides trying to tell me through my intuition I feel so strongly? The foundation of something is there. So this card always makes me think of the Fool, because it looks like the Fool, but it's the Six of Swords. The foundation is there to take some kind of leap of faith on yourself, but it's like the anchor of the boat needs to come out. So whatever it is that is acting as an anchor to the past chapter, you're ready to cut the string of that anchor. Message, please. You're looking for a finish line that you already crossed. Now it's giving paintbrush is in your hand. You were waiting for something in order to start to utilize the paintbrush in your hand, not recognizing you already crossed the finish line of whatever you were looking to cross before using it. Message for the weekend. It feels like there's a need to give yourself a different kind of rest. Healing is linear, and there's a need to give yourself a break from focusing on the healing and allow yourself to be engaging in something that used to be fun, but came with like a weight for a period of time. There was a heaviness to something that used to be fun. You're being encouraged to pick that back up. Message from Ascendant Masters. There's a bunch of different versions of you right now that are working to get this chakra spinning again. It feels like your heart chakra. You've already taken the lightning strike. So like the worst of something is behind you, and you're walking forward into learning how to trust the flow again. Song and message for the weekend. I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty. You're closer than you think to actualizing some kind of external reflection of internal progress. Message from guides and a token. Oh, it's a tarot. Hanged Man. You learned how to uphold boundaries even when they made other people, especially when they made other people uncomfortable to some degree. Whatever this is, it's like you're putting that continued cycle of testing behind you. Whatever was pestering you, it was pestering you to be sure that you upheld boundaries and you passed that test. I have finally finished my manager's course. Will I get my own shop by next June? Same cards came back out. I see you making progress. I don't necessarily know if it's your own shop by next June, but it feels like there's some kind of increase of responsibility, but it feels like it's not necessarily to the extent of your own shop, at least not by next June. Is James being honest? What's that word? Not necessarily flat out lying, but what's that word? Omission. There's something being omitted or not all the way expressed. It doesn't feel outright lie though, because Three of Swords is like, I'm trying to keep the peace without lying, but omission is also lying. So I guess you could, however you want to view omission, it feels like there's an omission there. Should I get into Eatering short stories fix? I've been itching to write a book, but I don't know where to start. I mean, King of Cups and King of Swords, there would be some kind of major benefit to you processing in this way. Maybe you're a verbal processor that you don't always have an outlet to verbally process. It feels like it would help you to do this. It may take a while to build up because it feels like the first stage of this is allowing it to bring you through healing. Hey, buddy. Go ahead. Say hi.
Hello. Where is everyone?
They're right there.
Oh.
And in here.
Oh, okay.
You want to say anything?
How are you all doing?
They'll answer you, but I can't scroll down to it. All right, let me finish, bud.
Now they're all like, well, not all yet. But...
Yeah. Bye. Okay, let me see. How will my appointment go on August 12th? Is there anything I need to prepare for ahead of time? Just your stress levels beforehand. I feel like this isn't necessarily the appointment. You might not be getting like as much clearance as you expect, but it does feel like the biggest hurdle is the stress prior to the appointment and not the appointment itself. But it's almost like something you're hoping to be more finalized requires an additional step. Is my intuition correct in that there is a third party? There's someone that has access. It feels like a past person that has access that it may have been explained to you as if this person was more cut off than they are. Is this like a third party? I feel like you may be fearing it's more serious than it is. However, there is something that there's a past door open to someone that you were under the belief the door was closed to. Message for the month of August. You're figuring out a way to see what your peripheral has been missing in terms of what's holding you back. And this is unlocking to you because you've taken some kind of action where you're finally treating yourself like your own friend. And this solution is going to require you keeping that same energy. New member, thank you. There's some kind of celebration you don't see coming. Are you joking? Hold on. Some kind of celebration you don't see coming. I just dropped like half the deck on the floor. It's like progress and stability that it may not appear on the outside as if there's been this step towards stability, but you're going to notice it internally and then be able to reflect it externally. Hold on. Dropped like a quarter of the deck on the floor. Something fell away recently to make space for this for you. Is the email read the fabricated gas certificate? Am I in trouble or protected? I sent the email for the fabricated gas certificate. Am I in trouble or protected? Could it possibly be neither? It's almost like there's no progress. Like it doesn't necessarily help push the needle forward, so to speak. It feels like it's not necessarily going to get you in trouble, but it's also not giving you the progress that you were hoping for with the situation itself. Message from my grandma. Trust your intuition in regard to what? Social situation, there's a need to trust your gut feelings plus pattern recognition in terms of some kind of social situation. Does my deceased father have a message for me about how he did my sister and myself? It was a tough lesson to have to face. It feels like this is like relating to life review. Like in my life review, it was very difficult to face. It's kind of giving the answers it was too difficult for me to give. There was like an emotional, you know, like when those water fountains that shoot upward, so it's like really tough water to like put your hand through. I'm being shown that like the emotional water wasn't flowing down, it was flowing up and it was harder to get through. So there were certain answers that were not able to be given or reflected. Message from Sean, please. You're being pushed towards changing some kind of patterned action. Like this could be frustration, this could be a setback of some sort. Whatever it is, it's going to feel like a speed bump, but it's really so you slow down and change direction in terms of your focus. Who will I need to guard myself against in the next couple of months? Someone trying to bait you into reaction. Like, you'll know very clearly because this is kind of giving like the blinds pulled up. Like if someone is trying to bait you into reaction, hypothetically, like looking through the blinds and you pull up the blinds and you're like, I see you, go away. It's kind of giving that. Who is this to you? Someone coming out of the shadows to try and bait you into reaction. It might have something to do with work or someone who would be related to like a pillar of stability. Will I receive my disability before fall time? Feels like that's more likely than it was. I don't know if you just filed some additional paperwork or I'm not all the way sure before fall time is the right timing. It does feel like you get it, but it doesn't feel like it's before fall. Maybe by the end of fall. There's some kind of shift in the way that something is being processed, but not on your end, on their end, which is what the pushback is. Work is wild. New manager tried to get me to do so much extra other work. I spoke with the supervisor to problem solve. She said she'll help fix things. My question is motives / taking advantage. It feels like somebody's telling you what you want to hear and or somebody is setting up. No, it feels like she said she'll help fix things was more of kind of telling you something that would hopefully push the situation away to where it resolves itself. It feels like that you're going to get some kind of almost like where something is going to be made to appear temporary but then last longer, like, oh, just get through this phase, but then it keeps getting pushed back. Do you see me having success with knee replacement surgeries that you're planning? Yes, success, longer period of recovery. That doesn't feel like it's because anything goes wrong, though. It just feels like you're going to err on the side. You're going to correctly err on the side of caution after. Like, okay, maybe I can bend it a little more today, but let me wait. It's kind of like giving that where it takes longer, but not because something goes wrong, but just because you want to be careful to not have to repeat the process or anything. Will I receive my CPP disability? Oh, I did that one. Advice from team content creation or law. Team content, you have 3 of Cups. You have the foundation that you could build this on. Your lived experience has helped you know how to do whatever you're trying to do in a group successfully. I feel like your biggest obstacle is going to be communicating this in a way that those who don't see the full picture that's in your head yet can still understand where you're heading with it. Thank you. I'm going to do a big giveaway when I get to 100K. I think I'm going to do like a big deck giveaway or something. Is my mom trying to give me any messages? I miss her so much. She's with you the most in this situation of, it's like you have all the puzzle pieces on the table, and I'm seeing her trying to like whisper to you from the other side of the curtain, like, yeah, put it there. Like you can recognize that when your intuition locks onto something, she's the one that kind of like pivots you, like, okay, face a little to the left or a little to the right. She doesn't want to, I get this feeling from her that she doesn't want to overstep your intuition. She's more of like, okay, I'm going to let you piece it together. And then if you need to like be pushed in a little bit of direction this way or that way, I'll push you, but I'm not going to give you the answers. Feels like that's kind of like her way of respecting that your intuition has gotten to a better height or a higher height. Message from my mom, please. You're wondering why she has maybe been more quiet or you haven't been noticing more signs. It's almost like she's saying they're there. I'm being shown the like a playlist, like when you need direct answers, ask direct questions and give me the ability to give you the direct answer. So maybe like making a playlist and then either the song titles or the song lyrics will be a confirmation. It's basically like there's been a couple times where you've needed a more direct answer from her and you feel like you haven't necessarily been able to get it. And the messages give me the way to give you the answers you need, and I will show up in that way. How do I help my son, age 11? So I'm pretty sure cactuses or cacti have water inside, right? It's like pokey around the edges, but inside there's flow. So needing to kind of like tap open how to let the flow out. I feel like there's a need to lock in on a creative element. Using something creativity wise to directly help with mental processing of overwhelm. So like maybe some kind of like art therapy or like something along those lines. Basically like I'm art that helps me process the emotions that feel, or the thoughts and emotions that feel too big when I just focus on them. Hearing was adjourned. Will I get a new date soon? It's like you got pushed to the back of the line or something. I feel like you're going to have some kind of information in like under 9 weeks, but I don't think you're getting a scheduled date then. I think it's like, here's when it will be up ahead. There's some kind of additional delay. What will happen with our local primary? Will there be surprises? There's some kind of like you can see very clearly that something went the opposite way it was supposed to because of imbalanced influence, like some kind of connection helping pull something forward where it wouldn't have been pulled forward without the connection. It feels like there's a very clear imbalance of how the final outcome came to be using influence that shouldn't have been a factor. What generational pattern am I here to heal, and how will the future generations be different because of the work I do? Connecting to self-worth in order to restore balance. What generational pattern am I here to heal? Not taking chances or action because of a inherent unworthiness or self-concept wound. You're not just adopting distorted reflections of self. You're working hard to clear the mirror, which leading by example would also help future generations to look at it that way instead of just accepting the distortion. Sister-in-law passed yesterday so suddenly. Oh no, I'm sorry. Does she have a message for my brother and her parents? I mean, here's the family element. Here's the suddenness of it. Page of Swords in reverse. Essentially, kind of getting you're saying passed so suddenly. So it feels like there was a lack of goodbye, a lack of final conversation. She has the understanding of what they would have said. Maybe they've thought about it. Maybe they've said it out loud. It's like the message of maybe we didn't get the goodbye that we all wanted to have. However, I'm still able to hear you, feel you, pick up on what you want to say. Don't feel like I'll never hear it just because I wasn't able to hear it there. And there's a need to still express that and not let that be bottled up. Don't let the lack of goodbye be what be what puts a lid on emotional expression because it feels too difficult, because that will make them feel like they're drowning. Whereas if they continue to express, they'll learn how to swim in the turbulence. I've started selling on the online platform Vinted in order to downsize and create some additional income. Will I have success with this? And will it be worth the time and commitment? I mean, yeah, it feels like it's going to take some time to build up, but it does feel like you have some kind of expectation of like, okay, maybe I'll get rid of 50, 60, 70% of this stuff. It feels like your prediction is pretty accurate. It may take a little longer than you want it to actually get rid of it, though. Current prominent soul wound and test. Soul wound is how seriously are you taking yourself? This could be self-worth, self-concept, limitation on expansion, feeling of how you relate to being perceived. You keep being tested in little ways of, are you going to diminish your value or take yourself seriously? And it's like you're being presented this like time after time after time, subsequent tests. Are you going to take yourself seriously, or are you going to be convinced to start to disconnect from that? How does Brian feel about me? Feels like there's some questioning of like, am I loving you right? Am I treating you right? There's like this doesn't really feel like a feeling about you. It kind of feels like self-reflection about themselves in relation to you. It feels like there's been questioning of, am I showing up to the best of my ability? Maybe there was like perceived distance or literal distance, or a situation that maybe was misread to some extent. It doesn't feel negative. It just feels like there's been some questioning of, did I handle this right, from his view to your view? Message from A and a song. Silence by Marshmello. Hold on. I found peace in your violence. Can't tell me there's no point in trying. You're finally using your anger. You're channeling your anger in a productive way, in ways that you might not have done as fluidly in the past. And it's something that you should give yourself more credit for. Did A screw me over, or what happened? It's giving someone who was put in a position to, it's me or you. I didn't want to have to do this, but I have to figure out how to back away from something, as in their energy. I feel like what happened was this person was put in a position to either make themselves look bad or make you look bad in some way, however that relates or however that translates. And it feels like they backed into a corner to make a more selfish decision than they would have otherwise. Will my partner get a new job more locally to us? New job, yes. Because I feel like 9 of Swords, that's what your partner's worried about. I just don't feel like it. Yeah, there's an ending coming. I just don't necessarily feel like it's going to be as local as you'd like. It feels like there's still some distance. Is the BFF issue a test for me regarding boundaries? After you process the hurt. Oh, the devil? Yeah. Felt so much light and you're ready to explore, make friends in your town area. Yeah, I mean, it feels like it was stirring the cup to see if there was still any people pleasing tendencies that would have been at your own expense, like stirring the cup. Okay, let's see if any of this comes to the top. And it feels like in large part because of family boundaries, you learned how to use that as a template and apply those boundaries here. Will you put down your boundaries to engage in people pleasing activities or choices or whatever? What can I do to help NH understand why I said goodbye and stop breaking the boundary, or what is he hoping will come from this? I feel like there's nothing you need to or should do to try and help this person understand it. It feels like this is a conclusion that they have been aware of why, or they'd be able to piece together why. It's not because of a lack of understanding, it's because of a lack of acceptance. And that acceptance can only come from what they themselves want to believe or accept. So it feels like you trying to help them understand isn't going to help the fact that they already understand. It's a lack of acceptance, which comes from self. Ace of Wands in reverse. What is he hoping will come from this? He's hoping that this is just like a juke, like tricked you out, but I'm coming back type of thing, which again goes in with the lack of acceptance. How will my sister get her money back from her ex? He seems dangerous. I don't think he's really going to want to give this back with 9 of Pentacles in reverse. There may need to be some kind of communication, like filed of some sort, like maybe like typing up a notice or typing up a paper trail will help protect her, but she's going to have to do things where there's documented strategy. Like I'm seeing an actual paper being written and like handed. And you're saying he seems dangerous. I feel like the paper trail is to help alleviate the potential danger, because he'll think twice about acting or reacting in certain ways if he knows that there's certain things being documented. Is Irvin still a handler in my life? This person feels to be a handler for a very specific thing that hasn't all the way come to fruition yet. It's like this person is meant to make you not see or use a certain strategy, but you still have the option to use that strategy. So this person still needs to keep some kind of eye on you. Why did SMD cancel my appointment? It's kind of giving over schedule, over book. Either over schedule, over book, or like, okay, this feels beyond the skill set or knowledge, but I don't want to say that, so I'll go with the overbooking thing. It's one or the other. The Devil. Feels like something was over promised and they realized they were either going to have to under deliver or make an excuse. How do you see my court case finalizing time frame? You're going to be okay with the ending of it, but it's not going to be the fullness of what you were hoping for. It's like not worst case scenario, but you're happy to just get it behind you. It feels like there's some hurdle that you're anticipating, and that hurdle is going to show, but it's not going to pull you back as far as maybe it could. I want to ask a question about Trump, and I'm exhausted thinking about him and the insanity he creates. I can't even form a question. Any insight surrounding him and the near future of the USA? You know, if you're in the like if you're a kid and you're on the bus and you're kind of like driving to school, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, this bus driver is really slamming on the brakes a lot, right? It's giving that, but with any type of foreign relation. We're about to see sharp slamming on the brakes of, like, instead of stopping to let the kids on the bus at the other bus stop, it's like the bus driver slams on the brakes and then speeds forward and no one can get on. We're about to see that with foreign relations in a more extreme way. Is Gary really my half brother or a different relationship, which would mean his biological dad isn't who we're being told? Is Gary really my half brother or a different relationship? It feels like it's a different relationship. There's a relation, but it's not what it appears. Someone needed to redirect the truth in a way that alleviated certain questions from being asked. Whatever 1 degree of separation means, like you're 1 degree of separation away from the truth. Message from my guides. Clarity comes from taking a step, not before in this instance. It's like you're mixing this past experience in with present circumstances, and it's giving you the right clues, and it's self-trust that opens up the next steps in front of you, like the light turning on them. Message from my guides. This is the part of the journey where you're shouldering some kind of emotion that feels like no one is understanding, or like feels like in a relay race, this portion of the relay race, it's like you handing the baton to yourself, working through a particular emotion that before was repressed, and then handing the baton to yourself. So if it feels like there's a degree of not feeling all the way understood, it's because you're completing that relay race, and by the time you get to the end of it, the understanding you have of self will suffice, and anything else will be a bonus. Is my dad having health problems? Feels like something is built. There's either a change needed or something is slowly building. It doesn't feel like it's like here yet, but it feels like there is going to be some kind of change needed to alleviate what is now building. There may be some kind of like either stress factor or like unhealthy coping mechanism factor, or something that needs to be better managed for proper flow. Should I report it to Gas Safe so that they can be investigated and charged? I mean, should you? Yes. 4 of Pentacles is reversed. So it's like, without the report, how are they going to know? But 5 of Pentacles is here. So it's like, you might not get like they might not be charged in the way that you're hoping, at least not at first. You may have to push past an obstacle for that. But it does feel like there is some benefit to starting to get the paper trail laid down. Should I continue my connection and friendship with AB, or would it be best to let things be? I feel like it doesn't have to be like let things be forever, but it feels like for right now, some kind of distance or space, or not poor, like maybe like letting this person show up for you instead of you being the one to always show up first. It feels like there would be a benefit to not putting in the same amount of effort for a little while to see how things can rebalance out and then making a decision accordingly. That quote that's like, if someone really wants to build with you, you're not going to have to constantly remind them to carry the bricks. It's like giving yourself the opportunity to see if this person will pick up the bricks or not. My sister hates me. What's her problem? Never got over some kind of division of attention since childhood or since teen. It feels like it's her inner teen that is kind of not putting down a certain perspective of how attention was divided. It's like a tug of war for energy that's yours, but because it's yours, she can't have it. And almost like a degree of projecting selfishness onto you for not giving her what is actually innately yours. My dog Sarah has gone blind in one eye. Am I with the right vet for her continued treatment? Can you get a second opinion? I'm not saying you have to go with another one, but I feel like there's something that's not all the way being seen that a second opinion would give you the clarity on. It's like they're missing a piece of perspective, whether that's treatment, whether that's like depth of understanding of what's causing it. I feel like a second opinion would help alleviate some kind of potential extension of like it not shortening the issue, but shortening maybe like the healing or like taking some pressure off of the healing. There's something that's being slightly missed that a second perspective would help give you an answer on. Message from Mildred, my grandmother. What Disney movie is that? It's like, remember who you are. Is that Pocahontas? Look up what movie that is. I feel like there's an additional message in the movie. There's something about you coming into re-understanding yourself from the perspective you're at now, and a reflection of her is pivotal in that. It's kind of giving like, what would Mildred do in some kind of circumstance that you currently find yourself in? Any insight on the mindset of Lindsay Clancy when she unalived her 3 children? Will she testify in her trial? So I did do a reading on this. So from that reading, I'll pull more cards, but I already have that kind of in my mind. What was the mindset? Misjudgment on the belief that she was just going to be able to get herself out of here too. She thought that that was a solid piece of the plan. It feels like in the process of feeling like she needed to run from herself, she miscalculated her own ability to see it through to the end. What was the mindset? It feels like the mindset was that she was just done, and it didn't matter how the means to the end didn't matter, only the end mattered. Will she testify? I feel like she wants to. Not like wants to, but like wants to. I just don't know if her lawyers are going to necessarily approve it or like green light it, I guess. Strategy message from the Queenie. Strategy message. Transitions the game into calmer territory and suppression. In order to not get stuck, be sure to not be reactive. It's okay to react or respond, but don't allow yourself to be pulled into reactivity. Message for the month of August. Let's do Queenie because you said any deck. Message for the month of August. Sacrifice. It's one of the bonus cards. Regret. Lose something now to win later. That quote that's like, everything that I let go, everything I ever let go of has claw marks on it. You're getting the opportunity in August to let go without claw marks. And it helps to shift perspective of what's possible or what's doable for you. Message from Paul. You'll know when it's time to take a step forward because you'll know that you have all of the data. It feels like you're still being given pieces of a puzzle. And when you have the whole puzzle put together, you'll be like, oh, okay, why didn't I see that before? But it's because you weren't supposed to see it until you had all the pieces down on the table. Song and token. Wake Me Up, the rendition by Aloe Black instead of Avicii. You're about to have some kind of other wave of awakening, but it's not going to be painful like the last one. This is more like a refresher. Like almost like your last awakening was like your eyes jarring open and being like, oh my goodness, all of this is happening at once. This time it's like you're floating in the lazy river of it and you're like, oh, okay, I can kind of explore here what I became aware of last time. And it feels like it gives you this like unicorn type perspective where it almost feels imaginary or foreign, but it starts to become normal, like a new way of processing that's available to you when you allow yourself to explore calmly what last time was like thrown in your face like confetti all at once and you had to try and catch it. This work issue is really affecting me. How will it be resolved? Will I be expected to do as much as my new manager is arriving? I'm almost wondering if, or as my new manager is saying, not arriving. I feel like it's going to be presented to you as if it's just temporary. I don't think you're going to be pleased with how long it lasts, though. It feels like you're going to be given something that you're like, I know that this, you're giving me an excuse. Like you're telling me what I want to hear. You're giving me an excuse to shut me up momentarily so that you hope I just shut up about it altogether. It's like they're going to attempt to string you along to where it seems more temporary than it is. Like the increased responsibility portion of it. A message from my guides and angels for myself for the month of August. Creativity needs space to bloom. Whether this is a creative solution or whether this is like an option to rebalance something stability-wise, you're about to have some kind of idea or like a push towards change, I guess I should say. You're about to have a push towards change. Like maybe you start to notice something over and over and you're like, oh, I could do that a little differently, or I could spend my time a little bit better here, or I could incorporate this new thing in, or what is that quote? Sometimes the biggest changes, this isn't like directly how the quote is. sometimes the biggest progress comes not from striving for something ahead of you, but from figuring out what needs to be left behind. It feels like there's a need to focus on what bad habit or what coping mechanism is stopping you from taking some kind of chance on yourself or needing to refocus or shift focus. I'm not like using it, the Facebook, but I connected a Facebook to my Instagram so that whenever I post on the Instagram, it just automatically uploads to Facebook. So the one with the check mark is me. I'm trying to get rid of the scammers, but it's still not working. In my brain, once I had a real one, they were going to have to take down the other ones, right? Wrong. But yeah, that one is me, the one with the check mark. It's Ashley Kester, not The Reckoning Co. Because you have to have the same name as, I don't know. But yeah, that one's me. My sister's birthday would have been on the 3rd. Any message from her with a token or a song? Four of Swords is coming out a lot today. Breakfast waffle. Take a Guess by Ollie Joseph, but it has boxing gloves. I'm the main event. Walk out to my own shit. I'm the main event. Interesting song. You won whatever battle you were in. This is giving like the morning after breakfast. Like you're about to have some kind of realization that whatever thing kept feeling like you were going 9 rounds with it, you're waiting for another round. You're about to have a shift of realization that the dinger has belled. You're out of that final round. But you notice this after you take some kind of action. You're in the calm before the confirmation. And it feels like this is the message she's giving you, because whatever conclusion this is that's coming in, she played a role in making it happen. Like she was handing you clues to get to this final realization. Any insight on my pending biopsy results? I feel like there's something they're going to want to keep an eye on, but it feels like everything is in the clear. Almost like, this makes me think of like succulent drying out. They need to, it feels like you're going to be pleased with what they say, but there's going to be some kind of like, we need to recheck to make sure that this flow doesn't drop. Like there's some kind of parameter that it's like you're in the clear, but in X amount of months, we need to check and make sure this is still clear. It feels like that's the like result trajectory. Message from my mom. You're no longer trying to make things fit. You're able to put yourself in observer mode and examine things and not, you're seeing things for what they are as opposed to what you hoped they would be. And that was the point of this last cycle, to get you into that mindset of not trying to like, I feel like there's a situation in the past where you took a puzzle piece hypothetically and dipped it in the water, and then you're like, oh, it fits the puzzle now because it's a little mushy. This time you had the opportunity to do that, and you said, no, I'm going to find the one that actually fits instead of making it fit. The house just went on the market this week. How long until it sells? Some kind of delay. $9 months to a year. It feels like there's something where it looks like something's going to go through, it doesn't, and then the next thing comes in pretty quickly. 9 to 12 is the time frame. I think it's months. It could be weeks if it's like a short sale. If it's not a short sale, it feels like 9 months to a year. How do you see the current civil case turns out time frame? It feels like it closes out before you get the fullness of what you want. I feel like in under nine weeks. No, this feels like 9 months too. In 9 to 10 months, it feels like something's drawing towards a conclusion. It could be weeks as well, but it feels like it's like a lackluster, like it's not worst case scenario, but there's something that you wish would have worked out more favorable. Content sounds fun, but where should I start? Kind of feels like building up towards what you're most uncomfortable with. Like not diving into it first, but like, let's say you're saying content. So let's say your hesitation is to like get on live or something like that. It's like building up, showing the trajectory of how you're working towards what would serve to be an obstacle. It's kind of giving like behind the scenes buildup of a project. And if you don't have a project, you could create a project and then show the behind the scenes of it. Will Grace's time at the Compass be positive? And what lesson is our mother-daughter relationship teaching both of us right now? How to use what you have, how to start where you are. What's that quote? Start where you are. Use what you have. There's another line. How to not wait for something outside of you to give you permission to take action or to be happy, to be grounded. It's like no longer waiting for permission outside of you. And it feels like the two of you are reflecting this back to each other in some way. Will time at Compass be positive? There may be some kind of homesickness or like observation of emotions that will feel like freedom after the processing is complete. Message and token from my guides. What is that, pi? Or is that an astrology sign? The other side, I know what that is. That's arm wrestle. Pi. I'm taking that as pi. I don't know what it really is. You're solving for X. You're moving forward, solving for X. You're about to solve for X. Certain things that you've been viewing the math on are going to add up to where you're like, oh, this is why all that had to happen, or this is why that had to not happen. Trust that when you solve for X, you have the right variable. Will Rachel get the house she wants? So this is yes, but you're saying the house she wants. I'm taking this as a house she wants. So I don't necessarily know if that's one in particular right now, but it feels like the one that she ends up with is she'll look at all the other ones and be like, oh yeah, this is the one that I needed to get, even if I thought I want other ones previously. So you're saying the house she wants, which makes me think you're referring to a specific house. I don't know if it's that one, but I do feel like the one she gets is the one that she ends up being happy with. Will I receive a job offer within the next week or two? Not in the next week or two. I feel like the one that you end up getting is one that you didn't expect to get. Like maybe this is one that you're just like, oh, let me see what happens, and they end up calling you. I don't think it's within a week or two though. 9 to 10 weeks. That could be a start date though. If that seems too long, that could be a start date. If you're already well into the process, if you're newer at the process of trying to find a job, it feels like 9 to 10 weeks. Message from my grandma. You're about to have a new idea of how to handle the balance between, it feels like, work and home life. There's some kind of stressor in the midst of them that you're going to find the proper solution for. Like a wave of inspiration. Is my grandma's ringtone? Did she have a special ringtone for you? Because that might be a clue. Is my grandmother's ring gone forever, or is it still somewhere in my house? Ten of Cups, there is an opportunity for fulfillment. It feels like strength in reverse, maybe not looking in the right spots. What's a clue? The Sun in reverse. It's hiding in a dark corner. It's not where it's supposed to be. It's like, it feels like it's not somewhere where like you put it to store it. Like it feels like it's somewhere where it was dropped or misplaced. It's not like in a logical spot. It's still recoverable, but it's not in a logical or obvious spot. And something about a ringtone. Are there any new friends in my future? Not immediately, but eventually. It feels like Knight of Swords in reverse. The next group of friends that comes in, you're going to feel like they hear you without you needing to like over explain yourself. So in order to manifest that in, there's a need to make sure you're not doing that internally with yourself. Are you over explaining yourself to yourself? Because when you find yourself no longer doing that is the time frame that these individuals come in. Let me slow this down a little bit. 1 second. Oops. Okay. New friends. I want to start the nursery back up. Does this align? Yes, move forward with it, but you might not want to do it the exact same way you did it before. There may be a need to look at the foundational element and restructure that before moving forward, but it does feel like that would be something in alignment. People-pleasing version is gone. I feel like that is, what were we just in? Mercury retrograde? Something was in the microwave. Whatever that was, I feel like that was a common theme of who's still in their people-pleaser energy and who is refusing. Because I feel like a lot of the tests for people were similar. 6 of Wands in reverse. Whether or not you got drugged back into another cycle or repeated pattern had a lot to do with whether or not you were going to people please to be chosen collectively. Oh, I did that one. Anything from team about a new job? My current job is making me miserable. Can you apply for something a little different or like a little... It's kind of giving needing to get your foot in the door and then work into the position that you'd like, even if the initial position is like a pivot of focus. It feels like you have a skill set that you're not all the way capitalizing on, and that may be a bit of the delay. It's like trying to pull you forward into seeing something else you could utilize that isn't utilized in your current position. Like maybe you're really good at math and you do nothing that has to do with math, or maybe your people skills aren't being all the way utilized. It's like needing to figure out what that ticket, the golden ticket, so to speak, is, and apply to things that are more in alignment with that tunnel visioned piece of your skill set. Do you have a song you suggested listen to for a message? Let's see. Along the Way by Echo. Along the Way. You are coming out. I'm seeing The Hobbit, where it's like the mountains are all in that circle and they kind of like hide in the mountains. It's like you're coming out back into the opening, and the echoes feel very loud, but that's because they're on the way out. You finally learned how to, this is giving like mistletoe olive branch. You learned how to extend an olive branch to the past versions of you that at one time you needed to disconnect from. And those are the exact pieces of you that are going to help you know that the loudness or intensity is the echoes of what's going out and isn't something that's coming in to punish you. It feels like staying in observer mode is going to help you come out of like the circle cave part and back out into the main opening. So this could be something about reconditioning your ability to be seen or perceived or heard, or standing in your light without dimming feels significant. Should complete your medical astrology certificate. Yes. It helps boost you in some way that I feel like it helps boost your confidence in promoting your business or whatever else, or like self-promotion. It helps you feel like those who book with you won't have buyer's remorse or something like that. Not that they would anyway, but like preemptively. There's some kind of like, it helps give you the allowance to promote in a way that you feel more comfortable with, that's bolder. New member, thank you. Fear is loud at times, but lived experience is more clear. There's a need to, what's that thing? Sift, like where they have the sand thing and they like move it back and forth to get the bigger chunks of rocks out. There's a need to sift out what is acting as those like blocking pebbles in your mind, because there's something that you have the ability to handle the different layers that are coming off. It's your mind that's your biggest obstacle, because when our mind experiences something new, it will sometimes try to gravitate to a fear to protect us. Be mindful that you don't let your mind do that, because whatever this is a good opportunity for expansion. Is Tim still a handler in my life? I feel like I did this, but if I didn't, this is very similar to the answer that I gave for the one that I think was like this. Something hasn't been completed yet. This is literally like keeping an eye on. It feels like this is someone who doesn't have as active as a role, but they're keeping eyes on something. Will the person who was drunk driving and hit our car plead guilty? It feels like there may be a plea that requires them to do that. I feel like yes, but it's not like it feels like it's not because they want to do the right thing, it's because of a plea. Can I have a message from Nacho and Lily? Doggies both passed 2 weeks apart, end of April, beginning of May. There's some kind of signs that they're actively giving you. I feel like it has something to do with light. Like, I'm wondering if you notice some kind of, you know how people will have those things that they stick on the window and the light comes through all like rainbowy. I feel like you don't have that, but you've noticed something like that. It feels like that's a sign from them. And it feels like there's some kind of event or something that you have coming up, or like an important day, where specifically you're going to notice this light in like a very direct way. Like you can tell it's trying to get your attention way. Should I continue contact with my kid's biological mom after the adoption? Oh, those are the same cards that came out. Yes. But I would put very clear boundaries on the like structure of communication. I feel like for you, it's more you have a plan, you have a structure. For the biological mom, it may come more in waves of emotions. So I feel like if there's a previous structure of like, hey, this is acceptable, this is not, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. I feel like laying that all out is going to help alleviate the potential ebbs and flows of the other party's emotions. So yes, but just make sure it's structured like previously. Message from my guides. Feels like you're stressed out to some degree because you're having too much on your plate. That quote that says you can do anything but not, you can do anything but not everything. I feel like adopting that as your motto for August will be helpful. I can do anything but not everything at once. Was I adopted and have a twin? I feel like twin, no. Seven of Pentacles is interesting here for the adoption. It does feel like there's some buried knowledge in regard to your birth story, but I'm not getting twin. What opportunity is approaching in the next 5 years that I may not recognize? Having the pen in your hand to make a decision to cut out something that was not allowing balance. It feels like there's something that it's been a persistent anchor, and you're not seeing that you're eventually going to have the scissors in your hand to be able to cut the anchor. It feels like this is at least 2 years away, but you'll be able to start to see how this is being prepared for. Like the boat has gone as far away as it can, and now it's swimming back in to cut the anchor. Why have things been going wrong this week? Is there a silver lining? Silver lining, yes. So that you can put yourself into the mindset of the Queen of Swords. It feels like there was a comfort zone or complacency that you might not have been recognizing, but now that things have gone wrong so often this week, you're like, okay, something's got to change. That was the purpose. It was to put you into not allowing complacency to continue in an area where it may have been disguised as like, oh, this is good enough. But now you'll be able to look at it and be like, maybe I was being a little complacent there. Maybe I can take some kind of action differently. Welcome back. Hello. Thank you. You're about to be putting something to rest in terms of, what's that show where they scan things? That Wheel of Fortune? Okay, I don't know where this is going, but I'm seeing that thing where they run into the grocery store and they have to fill the cart and they scan a bunch of things, and whatever is in the cart, then they have to get to a certain amount. You're about to rest after doing that. Like, you've gotten all the items, you've scanned them into the cart, you won the contest. Now you're about to rest and like recalibrate from that. Oh, 5 memberships. Thank you. Something that you took the high road on is going to start to not feel as draining. Kind of feels like you could have had the last word and you chose silence instead, and it still has a weight, but the weight is going to start to lift. Why does my dad seem angry and disrespectful to my mom, especially lately? It's a projection. I'm angry with myself, but also don't know how to process that. So I'm projecting that out to who I feel like will hold it the easiest, which would be your mom. The Tower. Something's not moving in the direction that he would like, or as quickly as he would like. And the frustration is something that he doesn't have the language for. So instead of processing it, he's projecting it. Settled into my new home now, and my spiritual work is in transition. Slow and steady wins the race. Diligency with a jar of fireflies. It's like you have all of these fireflies in a jar that are reflections of, like, the firefly when it's not lit up is the old version of you, or the old version of your practice, and when it lights up briefly, it's transitioning you into the new one. This is your period of examining each of them and seeing what they're trying to teach you. So it feels like you're going to be given a lot of, as you sit and create space, you're going to be given like thought clues. And as you follow them, it's like identifying these fireflies and figuring out what light you are meant to carry forward with you from them. My birthday is tomorrow. Message and a song. Can you write yourself some kind of letter before your birthday? I guess on your birthday too, but it feels like before your birthday, releasing yourself from carrying something forward into the next chapter. It's almost like you're ready, but you need to give yourself some kind of permission, and doing this will help you visualize or actualize it. There's something very specifically that isn't coming forward with you, but if you allow yourself to see it written, you'll start off the year with that instead of working towards it. Anything I can do about Artie dog cloudy eyes? Yes, I mean, I feel like a need to get an opinion or drops or something. It feels like it's something that you need a prescription to fix, is how I want to word that. Or like, I guess it doesn't have to be a prescription. It could be like over the counter or something, but it feels like it's something that isn't going to be cleared without some kind of agent of sorts. Oh, I did that one. Will I move to Arizona by the end of August? It's possible. End of August feels... 9's what? September? I feel like there may be a month or two delay. I do see you moving, but I feel like there's going to be a bit of a delay. It feels like something makes you err on the side of caution in regard to the timing, and that's where the delay comes from. Will my kitten heal from her parasite and start using the litter box regularly? Yes. Yes, but it's going to be a process. It's not going to be easy. I feel like there's going to be like a retraining needed, or like a what's that word? Incentive. A need to continually incentivize until it becomes normal, but yes. Why is the status of Mitch McConnell's condition, health, possible death being withheld? Hall of Mirrors. Giving a Hall of Mirrors, blocking a Hall of Mirrors so that the position is not refilled yet. Feels like they're waiting for something specific to double the announcement about him as a distraction over something specific when it's announced. So one, so the seat isn't filled by someone else, and two, let's use this to cover something else once it comes out, because they know that everyone's going to be like, oh, I knew it. And they're going to use that to distract away from something else that they already know when the something else is coming out. Will I get a job offer in the next couple of weeks? Not as quickly as you'd like, but yes. I feel like there's a need to follow up with the places that you want to hear from the most. Because it feels like whatever one you end up getting, it's one that the follow-up call or whatever moves the marker to make it go through. Any messages from my grandpa or grandma? You're learning how to work with the parts of you that you used to feel like were a burden. And it feels like one of those parts is you're finally placing people accordingly where they belong in terms of your story. You're not trying to make excuses for how people chose to handle or mishandle you. And I feel like that's a push to begin to allow yourself to trust yourself more fully. You like made it past that barrier. Any messages from my biological dad? You had to perform this juggling act with like information. Like you always had to take a bit of information and find a way to like put it together with the other information or make it make sense. It feels like the message is, as hard as this juggling act was for you, and it feels like there's a bit of responsibility on his end, like he feels responsible for the juggling act you had to be in or do or whatever. It's like, I know that was hard, but the way that it helped you become this Queen of Swords in terms of strategy, in terms of mental processing, like, I would have rather not put this in your lap, but I need to acknowledge how it did give you the capacity to use your brain in ways that other way you may have shied away from. So it kind of feels like there's a bit of an apology mixed in with like admiration. Like, sorry for my role in that, but look, it did help you in XYZ ways too. How is school going to be for me now that I'm double majoring? I feel like it's the right decision, but it's definitely not going to be easy. You're going to feel the weight of what's on your plate, but you're able, I don't know if that's the right word, compartmentalize stress. Like if you have 10 things you're stressed about, you can kind of figure out which one needs to come to the forefront and be dealt with. So trust yourself to do that, because it is going to be a heavy plate, but you have the muscles to carry it. Message for the new month. The theme of this month is balance, and it's needing to get very honest with yourself about something that continues to throw you off balance, because what we do not change, we choose. And sometimes that means we're choosing what we don't prefer. So challenge yourself for the new month to find something that throws you off balance, but you've been avoiding the restoration of balance because of either the work or the stepping out of your comfort zone. Because whatever this is, it's like you're ready to face it head on. Will my shed be done by this weekend? No. I mean, this kind of feels like majority of it's done. This feels more like the final touches will need a little bit more time. Let me look on this starred list really quick and make sure I'm not missing any. Hold on. Will it let me click these? No, it will not. Okay, did that one. Brian's feelings. Sister. This is from A. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm unstarring all the ones I did. BFF test. Dog. Queenie. Message for the month of August. Song and token. 12 left. Sunshine number. Ari. Message for the month. The issue will take a while to fix. I can support by lesson planning, coaching, and being in the classroom a few days, but will they expect me to act as a long-term sub all day, every day? If it's not that, it's other responsibilities for whoever else gets put in that position. Like, what did I say? Stringing you along. It's almost like you'll either be put in that position or you'll be doing the work of the other person that gets put in that position for at least a certain amount of time. It feels like this situation takes a while to mature to the next phase. So it's like maybe, for example, maybe Joe does the all that the one day, but then you're left picking up Joe's slack that he's not able to do because he's doing that instead. It feels like that goes on for a little bit. New member, thank you. Hot potato. You're about to get major abrupt clarity. Heads will roll by the yeahs. You're about to find out exactly how right you were about something that you only were going off of your intuition on. I feel like that's coming in quickly. Everyone is being stripped from me, family, BFF, and dealing with work issues. What's the zoom out message? Retracing the signs you had previously of this coming to fruition. I feel like what's being highlighted is everything has cause and effect, and you are now realizing that people pleasing previously or dimming yourself previously to make others more comfortable, or maybe like holding back being honest with yourself about other people's potential versus where they are. It's almost like your version of people pleasing previously was convincing yourself that they also were ready to actualize the potential that you saw, even when they were giving you no sign of that. It feels like this is something that the message of hope is that you're not going to have to repeat this now, because you can see it very clearly. You can stop yourself previous to going all the way in. Discernment is not having to complete the lesson to learn something from it. It's like you have that now where you're not going to have to repeat it. Should I pursue wrongful termination lawsuit? Message from my mom and her guidance as well. I feel like it's not going to be an easy feat, but with 5 of Pentacles in reverse, you might not get the fullness of what you want from it, but it does feel like it frees you from feeling like someone got one over on you. Almost like you may be able to work it to a place where they basically agree to something to make it go away. So it doesn't feel like it's going to be to the extent of what you're hoping for, but you may be able to get something out of it. From your mom, it feels like needing this decision then comes down to whether or not it's going to continue to pull you back into a low state of mind or exhaustion or whatever. Basically, if you can get that, like, kind of feels like a low ball deal where you can very clearly see that they're offering you something to make it go away. If you have space for that, then okay. If not, it also would be okay to walk away. All right, back to this list. Where was I? How is school going to be? A message from Ellen for my mom. From Ellen. She's encouraging your mom to give herself permission to stop looking in the rear view. There's a reason that the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. The windshield is giving you the perspective of expansion. The rear view mirror is only giving you the perspective of previous limitation that you've already outgrown, being that it's behind you. I'm confused as to what I'm to refocus on my channel. I like variety, but I feel like I'm being encouraged to stick to my healing work. Deeper processing. It doesn't have to be a switch. It feels like you know how when you go scuba diving, there's that rope that like you pull yourself down to get low enough? It's almost like whatever previous cutoff there was on the rope, allowing yourself to go a little deeper is going to show you this whole cave that you wouldn't have been able to see from the higher levels of the water. And it feels like this is more than just the depth. It's about stepping outside of a previous comfort zone. So it doesn't have to be a switch in focus. It's just approaching something with more depth. And that can be like more depth of emotion or more depth of like research or something like that. Oh, she loved waffles. Her and Dave are always so direct. Let's get a card from Dave. Okay, literal Dave, the Emperor. It's making me think of how people will like practice really hard to be able to hold a handstand, because to hold a handstand, you need that core. It's not all arms, right? It's core, it's breathing, it's everything together. It's like you've done all the breathing practice, core training, or like all of the other things. You're able to hold the handstand now. And it feels like the handstand is your ability to get into hanged man perspective shift without being forced to. Like, oh, before I have an issue here, let me stop and shift perception. Why hasn't Lana reached out? Should I leave it be? It feels like this person is afraid of judgment, is like not afraid of judgment like you're going to judge me, but afraid of judgment like overthinking the way they would be perceived, or feeling like their reasoning for something isn't going to suffice. I would say I would give it time. I mean, Seven of Pentacles is reversed, so it feels like right now is when this person's in this energy of fearing judgment. They're not going to be in it forever, but I feel like right now it'll be like you're speaking different languages. When I do tarot, I think the message immediately. Am I honing in on my abilities? You put down the burden of like analysis paralysis. Almost like before you would get that, and then you would try and think of what else it could be or how there was a misunderstanding, whether that was conscious or subconscious. You've put that down. So it does feel like you're not even necessarily honing in on, because it feels like you were honed in on. You're just no longer honing back out. You're allowing yourself to stay in and like sit with it. Am I closer to meeting my person? I've been getting patient for quite a while now. No, not as close as you would like. It feels like because healing is not linear, there's certain parts that are still being thawed of what was previously too like a icicle poking you. Like some emotions in the past may have felt like the icicle poking at you, and those are melted now, but you're learning how to swim in them. But they needed to like get to room temperature first. So it feels like this is a process of will you turn your back on the parts of you that you can now face if the wait is longer than you'd like. So it does feel like there's a little bit longer to go. Is there any guidance for me from the divine, especially around my S? I'm not able to pin her intentions for me. Is she to be trusted or avoided? I feel like trust isn't there yet, but you don't need to avoid either. I feel like this is something that needs to be taken one day at a time. It kind of feels like this person is also unsure of not your intentions, but like where everything fits for each of you. I would say this is something where as you allow it to unfold, you're going to either have the opportunity to trust yourself in starting to see very clear red flags, or you'll allow your walls to start coming down. What's the likelihood? I don't feel like this person has bad intentions. I just feel like they are on a different time frame of what it means to open up and build than you are, perhaps, and needing to kind of balance the two time frames. Will Jonathan get the co-job? I feel like that one, no, but it does feel like there is one coming in, but there's some kind of false start first. I feel like that's the false start, but it does feel like he gets something similar. Or maybe if it's not something similar, it's same company but different position, but it feels more like something similar but not that place. Is there a new day job closer to where I live for me? I feel I'm being guided to search. I feel like there is one coming in eventually, or one that would be opening up eventually. It may not necessarily be available right now, but this kind of makes me feel like if you start putting out feelers without feeling rushed, like let me start now and not expect anything right away, feels like you could be led to it, but I wouldn't expect it immediately. Were my children part of a group hurting my spirit and soul? It's giving me that quote, hurt people hurt people. It feels like there was some degree of lacking intention, but like lacking intention. I didn't set out to do this, but when I saw that this was happening, I didn't take steps to stop it, type of thing. So like unintentionally putting a foot on a slippery slope and then sliding down it. Am I on the right track towards regaining some mobility? Not that it's a no, but it feels like the mobility that you want is going to require additional expansion of tool set. Like the track you're on right now is going to plateau at some point. Plateau? Why does that not sound right? Plateau. Oh no, what happened? Hold on. Oh, my whole screen just went blank. It's going to plateau, and you're going to need to change the dynamic of tools and maybe think outside of the box or push a little further. So I would word it as you're where you need to be to get to where you want to go, but you're not all the way in the clear yet. Any insights from my spirit team? There's a need to be mindful of not allowing the perception of how someone else is seeing your growth or the way that you've changed in a positive way. Not allowing someone else's lack of connection with their self to make you get in your head about your newly established connection with yourself. It feels like there's going to be something that is projected onto you that in the past you may have taken to heart, but now you're able to be in observer mode and say, okay, that's not a me. That's not my processing. That's someone else's processing. I don't have to adapt that or adopt that. Will my sister's move happen soon? It's going to be slower. There's some kind of obstacle. It's like something looks like it's going through and then it gets held back and there's a little bit of a delay in between there. It does feel like it eventually happens, but there's this stop and go energy that has to be taken care of first. That's going to make it not happen as soon as desired. Do I have an abundance of money in my future? You definitely have the skill set to bring that in. It's more about finding the right strategy to allow that skill set to build the conveyor belt. Like you have something that you can actualize into like this conveyor belt where it keeps filtering in with minimal effort, but needing to kind of set that structure. My soul dog, Tank, is he with me and does he try to give messages? A lot of these, yes, a lot of these messages come through. It feels like I'm kind of getting like literal in the dark. Like I'm able to get your attention when your mind is not distracted by other things, which seems obvious, but it feels like you... Is there something you do, like reading or something? Like I'm giving you messages in the context of something else you're actively doing. This could be like social media statuses or stuff, like you're thinking about him and then something comes through that relates. When your mind is properly distracted. Message from higher self. What didn't work out for you really worked. If you would have gotten what you thought you wanted previously, you wouldn't have earned this Queen of Cups. It's like you learned how to embody safety within yourself, and you're about to seek some kind of reward from that. Will we purchase a cabin on Lake Roosevelt in Emily, Minnesota? I feel like your trajectory ends up changing here, but whatever you end up getting, you end up liking better than you would have liked that one. It feels like the trajectory is close, but shifts a bit. So I don't know if it's a different town or if it's a different house than you're imagining. It does feel like this happens similarly, but not exactly to how you're expecting it. How can I best create additional income right now? Some kind of idea you've been holding yourself back from. Which way could you offer your services to help solutions? It kind of feels like an at-home scheduler or something like that would be available as something quickly to like either get your foot in the door where it could turn into something else. I'm getting like a scheduler or a problem solver of some kind that you can do from home. Feels like a scheduler where it's not going to take too much time, but will produce additional income. I'm trying to see if there's anyone I didn't get yet. Am I ready to start selling the soaps I'm making? Yes. Yes, you may need to do trial and error with marketing strategy in order to like put yourself into a position where you're standing out amongst the competition. So yes, you're ready, but be flexible in your marketing approach. Do you foresee me living in London within the next 4 to 5 years or sooner? Yes, I feel like it's more on the far end though, like 5 to 6 years. I do see you going though. I don't necessarily see it happening quickly or sooner, but I do see it. These cards are giving like slow burn romance vibes. Like you're romanticizing this. So allow yourself to enjoy the process of getting there type of thing. Today's my parents' 66-year anniversary. Do you have a message from them and a song? Which one of them is the Joker? Because one of them is essentially saying, oh, wasn't able to get rid of them even over here. Like jokingly, like they're still together. Let Love In by the Goo Goo Dolls. I feel like it's your dad. Or no. Maybe it's your mom talking about it. One of them is essentially saying, oh, they're still here. Wasn't able to get rid of them. But like in a trying to lighten the mood type way. They never got to tell you how much they valued your friendship to them. By the end of the summer, will I have my proof I need for paternity situation in paper form as well? Not by the end of summer. You are going to have it. It just feels like not by the end of summer. It feels like 6 to 8 weeks past summer. There's a bit of a time frame after summer. I was asking if I could trust S, who is my mom, not a romantic partner. I get confused if she means me harm or not. Did I say in the previous one? Trying to figure out. Trust as in intentions, yes. Trust as in knowing how to actualize support, maybe not as much. Because in the last one I said trying to figure out what it is that you desire. It's like she has trouble placing exactly what you need from her, and it feels like at times this causes her to not show up at all or fully or whatever else, which at times you may read as, okay, can I trust? It feels like there's a lack of knowing how to translate what she believes is needed internally versus her ability to do that. So trust in terms of intentions not being impure, yes. Trust in terms of always knowing how to show up for you, maybe not necessarily that. You know how they do those videos where someone will stand behind the other person and they'll be like, okay, lean back, and then they'll move out of the way and be like, that's why you shouldn't trust this person or that person or this group of people. It's like that, but like, but instead of just dropping you, it's like, oh, I feel like I won't be able to catch you. Maybe it's better if I just let you land, and like maybe not always making the right choices, if that makes sense. Bianca's mom, because of her TBI, she is nonverbal. Is there something that can be treated so she can talk, or is it because of the TBI? Because she tries to communicate. Is there something that can be treated? I feel like there's progress that can be made. I don't know if you're going to get the fullness of what you're hoping for in terms of like verbal. There's progress that can be made, and if over time enough effort is poured into it consistently, the progress can be maintained, but there may be an eventual plateau on the progress. But it does feel like there's progress that can be made here. But it doesn't feel like it's going to be like something that falls in your lap or is easy. It's something that I don't know what reference this has, but that game, the Amazon game, what is that? What is that game called? It's like the one where they travel through the Amazon. It's like a 90s game. I'm seeing that for some reason. Like you're finding the treasure. Maybe it's needing to find the right medical professional that will hear you out fully and be able to give you out of the box treatment plans or something like that. Or like not typical. What is SR's energy towards me now? Will she be receptive to contact? I feel like this is an energy of avoidance. Like I'm going to try and keep things short and sweet, or I'm going to try, or I'm not ready to necessarily move beyond the previous dynamic. So there's a bit of like either avoidance or holding back here. That won't last forever though. That will shift. But I feel like it's not there yet. Current energy and token. I'm going to do like 3 more and then I have to go make Gavin lunch. It's a sword and potion. Current energy. Manifesting a solution for... Your current energy is focused on manifesting a different processing frame for like all the thought cars. Your current energy is focused on letting out all of the repeated thoughts and figuring out what it is that you're being shown. Is my theta soul multi-dimension work is a deeper way you mentioned? Oh, yes. Because I said the rope that you pull when you dive down, this would be that. And now this would be you going beneath to look at the cave thing I said. The cave thing is your mind. It unlocks a different way of using your mind. So I would say yes. Like, there's a difference between you doing this behind closed doors versus you expressing and talking. Maybe you're a verbal processor and this helps unlock that bit. Does my father have any messages for me? This too shall pass. There's something that's been a consistent drain. He's helping you to fix the leak in the cup so that your energy stops being drained out without you doing anything to drain it out. So trust that what you're being shown right now, even though it feels like you're being poked at, it's to show you where the leak is so he can help you patch it. All right, guys, I got to go feed my child. I will be back on next week. I'm going to try and do a members and a subscribers live next week, hopefully. I will be going out again soon for surgery. So I think I'm going to do one more round of opening private readings before then. And then I'll probably be out for like a month or two-ish. Yeah. Okay. So thank you. I will talk to you guys soon.